What's up, YouTube? I recently got a suggestion from a viewer that they wanted me to write down some of my thoughts and actually organize the points that I want to make so that I don't spend too much time rambling. And so I wrote down a list of reasons why you should play in the Black Zone. And to start off with a heavy topic, you only have one life, and in Albion, you only get one shot at being a good player. And you're supposed to learn and grow, of course, but for how long do you plan on learning and growing, right? How many years do you have to play Albion as a safe zone player for you to finally feel like getting into the PvP? So what I'm trying to say is, since we all just have one life to live, we should try, or at least strive, to make the most out of that time that we have. And so if you're not playing in the Black Zone, you're kind of lessening the enjoyment that you could be getting out of Albion, and in doing so, you're doing yourself a disservice, right? You're basically saying, hey, I could be having fun over in the Black Zone right now, but instead I'm choosing to take the coward's route and stay in the safe zone and never really develop myself as a player from there. And then what happens? A year passes, 2 years pass, 3 years pass, and you're still basically the exact same player, because you never took any risks, you never challenged yourself, you never queued up for those arenas that you've been planning on queuing up for. And I'm speaking to myself, like I'm speaking from personal experience. I have wasted way too much time on this game doing frivolous things that really didn't matter in the long run. And look at this. See, the Black Zone is fine. I mean, when it works, it works. When it doesn't work, it really doesn't work. But what I'm trying to say is, you at least owe it to yourself to give yourself the chance to try it. So that's point number one. Regardless of how fearful you are and how much you experience loss aversion, right now is a perfect example. I don't want to lose my 4.0 gear. This is 4 flat. This is 20k. This entire set costs about 20 to 50k, and if I lose it, it's not a big deal. Which brings me to my second point. Dying and losing your items in Albion is not a big deal, and a lot of what happens is psychological, and I'll get to that in a minute. But a 4.0 set costs less than 50k, and some builds require less than 20k. So these amounts are so small that they might as well not exist. How many of you are sitting on hundreds and hundreds of millions of silver, like Swole Benji, and risking none of it, right? When in reality, you make much more money in Black Zone than safe zones. You make much more fame in those zones, even after calculating the time it takes to travel to those locations, how often you die, how long it takes to travel back after dying. The amount of fame and money that you get from the Black Zone is substantially higher than anything you can ever possibly hope to do in the safe zones. Barring the one thing, I think, like the one exception is soloing static dungeons, and that's only for like 2 builds in the game. So here's where I want to press on the point that dying in Albion is mostly psychological. It feels bad to lose. It feels bad to drop all of your items, even if you haven't really lost anything. If your whole set is worth 20k, who cares if you lost 20k silver? That's nothing. It's pennies. There was a video I saw recently about a mom who broke a banana in half. She was about to give her kid a banana, and she broke it in half. And then her child started crying because he thought this ruined the banana. But even a moment of critical thought would have helped the baby realize that the perceived loss of value did not really exist. This is what it's like to die in Albion. It feels bad to lose items, but the items are fake, and the perceived value of them is imaginary. You could simply choose not to care. A broken banana is still a banana, and lost items in Albion are easily replaceable. Point number 3. You're supposed to use items like they're consumables. Let me give you an example right now and show you my bank. This is in Arthur's Rest on the America server. Here are my sets. Let me move this out of the way. Here are my equipment sets. I'm going to sort them. I have 8 tier 4 shields here. I have 6 tier 6 scholar cowls. I have 8 tier 4 soldier boots. These are here 15 guardian armors. These are here in case I die and I need to re-equip myself. I can just choose a loadout, my 700 item power tank risk, equip it, and we're done. Right? That's my set. You're supposed to use your items like they're consumables. And in this way, acquiring silver is like acquiring extra lives. If you can easily afford enough gear for Black Zone to be worth it, then you may as well, spend a little bit of silver on some tier 4 items where you can then get tons more fame, tons more silver, and the game overall is more worthwhile. And here's my final point. That brings me to my final point, where there's nothing else to spend your silver on in this game besides equipment. This game does there's a lot of economy players who will sit on vast hordes of money in the game and then proceed to do nothing with their savings. Hello? What are you going to spend that silver on? The stock market? In other words, the game's currency is gained for the purpose of being lost. Your vast amount of wealth may look impressive, but it's just sitting there not being used. If it's just sitting there, it may as well not even exist. So spend a small amount, maybe just 5% or 10% of your total savings in the Black Zone. See how it goes. You'd be surprised how much the game rewards people who use the Black Zone to their advantage. So that's my quick 5-minute video about why you should use the Black Zone. It is worth it. And come on, you can afford a 20k set. So thank you for watching. Leave a like if you liked. Hit subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you next time.